Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, January 24th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining with us and tuning in again this week. Now, we've got three topics to cover for you this week. One is an update on the latest on the implementation of the Social Security Fairness Act. Also, the governor filed her FY26 State Budget proposal this past Wednesday. And finally, we have filed our 2025-2026 legislative package, our legislative proposals for this current legislative session. And I will cover all those issues in just a moment. But before I do, I just want to thank those of you who took the time to turn out last Friday at our first area meeting for 2025. We held it at the Tewksbury Wilmington Elks. We had well over 200 members in attendance. And in my 30 plus years of working for the association, and I know that Bill Reary and Leo Delaney, who have also been with us for many years, said the exact same thing, as well as Frank and Nancy McGovern. This was the most celebratory meeting I think we have ever had, and for good reason. The repeal of the weapon GPO, you can't help but feel good about it. And I can't tell you how much all of us here appreciate the continued outpouring of thanks and gratitude and excitement around these laws. The important thing going forward is that we work to get you the information on implementation and continue to advocate for the Social Security Administration to implement this and pay those retirees who are owed retroactive checks back to January 1st of 2024 to make sure that that is done as soon as possible. Now, the difficulty is this is going to take time, and we knew that going into this, going all the way back to when this law was passed early in the morning on December 21st. I believe the information we put out that Saturday made it very clear this is going to take some time to implement. You know, there are about 2.1 million retirees around the country who are impacted by the WEP, and there are about 800,000 retirees who we know of that are impacted by the government pension offset. So that's nearly 3 million people, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Now, the last update anyone's received from Social Security was on January 6th, the day after President Biden signed H.R. 82 into law. And that directive from Social Security really didn't give us a heck of a lot of information beyond urging everyone to be patient, letting everyone know that they're working on this. And right now, if you are a retiree receiving Social Security who have been impacted by the WEP, or if you are a retiree who's applied for Social Security but were denied because of the GPO, unfortunately, you just need to sit tight. Beyond going online and setting up your account and maybe verifying that they have the correct address for you, and there's some problems with that, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, but there is nothing at this point in time for anyone to do. You can't call Social Security. Don't go down to the office. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to speed this up. Unfortunately, we need to be patient. We need to wait. Now, we are in ongoing, nearly daily communication with our congressional delegation from here in Massachusetts, as well as with US Senator Susan Collins' office up in Maine. Senator Collins, in particular, because of her chairmanship and her long-standing advocacy to end weapon GPO, continues to work on this issue. The same applies to Senator Markey and Senator Warren. Congressman Moulton's office has been very, very involved. As a matter of fact, I had a meeting with his staff just 2 days ago on this issue. That same day, I met with, or had a phone call with Senator Markey's staff. We're in regular communication across the board with everybody. Earlier on Thursday, when I recorded this video, I spoke with Congressman Richie Neal's chief of staff on this topic. So it is being worked on. They are not walking away from this issue or not just assuming, oh, it's done, we voted on it, it will work itself out. No. Our congressional delegation, and I know congressional delegations across the country because I spoke with my friend Tim Lee from the Texas Retired Teachers Thursday morning when we were both commuting into work, comparing notes. You know, what have you heard? I know that his congressional delegation down in Texas is doing the exact same thing that our folks here in Massachusetts is doing at the same time, and that is pressuring Social Security for information to keep retirees well informed and to make sure that the rollout of full repeal and adjusting everyone's benefits happens as smoothly and as quickly as possible. And as soon as we receive information, our members will be the first to know. And we will get it to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, again, and I know everyone wants to get paid. I don't blame you, especially if you've been retired for a long time and have lost this money all these years. You want what's yours. That's only right. But it's going to take time to get there. And as we have been saying, it is no longer a matter of if you are going to get paid, it's when. And as soon as we get that information, we will get it to you. But in the meantime, don't pay attention to online rumors or coffee shack or coffee shop scuttlebutt. Thank you. We'll get you accurate factual information as soon as we receive it. It's as simple as that. Now, in the meantime, we're very focused on things here in Massachusetts. As I said earlier, Governor Healy filed her FY26 budget proposal on Wednesday. And unfortunately, there are some things in there that we disagree with the governor on. The governor is proposing to change health insurance contribution rates for active employees who are insured under the GIC, the Group Insurance Commission. These active employees, and there's about 17,000 of active employees who fall under this category, these are state employees who began working for the Commonwealth prior to 2003. So these are career public workers. They were grandfathered at 80-20, which had been the contribution rate for active employees. In 2003, the contribution rates under the GIC for new hires was changed to 75-25, and these contribution rates have existed now for 22 years. Governor Healy is proposing to put all active employees at 75-25. We disagree with the governor. We think that that is an unfair and unwarranted proposal. Again, we're talking about career public workers, and to suddenly force someone into a higher contribution rate bucket, which, by the way, would amount to about a 25% increase in what these folks are paying every month, is simply unfair, and it's not necessary. And we hope that the legislature, starting with the House in April and then the Senate in May when they take up their budgets, revert back to the earlier language that, again, has been in place for 22 years. Now, unfortunately, our members insured under the GIC, the retirees who are state retirees under the GIC, kind of got mixed up in the shuffle here. And we discovered when reading the budget yesterday that in addition to changing the language for active employees, a mistake was made, and they also deleted the language establishing the 3 levels of contributions for retired state employees. Now, there are 3 buckets of contributions. 90-10 for anyone anyone retired from the Commonwealth prior to July 1st of 1994 pays 10%. But because this was now more than 31 years ago, there are very few retirees still paying 10%. There are some, but unfortunately, folks pass away. The next bucket is 15% for retirees who retired, I believe, between July of 94, and February of 2010, pay 15%. And then anyone retiring after February or since February of 2010 is paying 20% for their insurance. And the governor's office, to their credit, have taken responsibility for the mistake. They've apologized to us. They have vowed to work to make sure that the legislature restores that language because it was inadvertently deleted. So for any of you who follow this closely, I know we have a lot of members who are very in tune and following along. If you're reading the GIC's line item, you might discover that that language has accidentally been stricken, and that's why we want to address it. And we have been assured that it will be restored. There's no reason for anyone to panic. There's really no reason for concern. Obviously, we need to work to make sure it gets done. But beyond that, there's no reason for anyone to overreact and be overly concerned about this because it's going to get fixed and taken care of. Now, in terms of other legislative functions, as I mentioned before, last Friday was the bill filing deadline for legislation for the current session. The current session runs from January 1st of this year, all the way through to the end of 2026. But the bulk of the legislative activity will take place between now and about summertime of 2026. So roughly about 18 months of time that we have to work with to move our legislation forward. Now for this session, we have filed 18 bills. And Mass Retirees members will get a full listing of those 18 bills in today's email message. So if you're a member of our association, please look to your email for further details on all of these topics, as well as the full listing of our legislation. We don't post it on social media. A lot of this information is only coming to Mass Retirees members. If you're watching this video and you're not a member of our association, but you are a retiree from Massachusetts, or if you're an active employee here in Massachusetts who are eligible to retire, you can also join our association as an associate member. You can do so at massretirees.com or clicking the link that's contained on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page that accompanies this video. Now, in terms of our bills, 12 of those bills have been filed in the House, the other 6 in the state Senate. And they range from everything from healthcare policy to COLA policy, to veterans benefits, to disability benefits. It really covers the complete gambit of public retirement policy here in Massachusetts. Now, in terms of the COLA issue is, as you know, before the special commission on the COLA. We're not anticipating that final report from the commission for at least several months, if not until a little bit later this year. We need to make sure that this special commission takes the time to get it right. And we'll have much more information on the work of the commission in the coming weeks and months. But the most important thing here is what ends up coming out of the sausage factory at the end of the process, and that is improving the COLA benefit, providing a better process forward, a new funding mechanism perhaps for improved COLA benefits and so forth. But it's going to take some time. We got to make sure we get it right. So with that, I'm going to sign off for the week. This is one of the shorter videos. We will be back to you next Friday with a new update. In the meantime, everyone take care. Stay warm here if you're up in New England, but be well, everybody. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.